0 errors, 0 data, a silent production failure. The culprit, 1 missing line of code, skip header equals 1. A midnight production load ran perfectly, except no actual data made it into the table. The culprit, a single missing parameter that swallowed the header row. Before we debug that incident, let's master the fundamentals of Snowflake data loading. You'll learn how to seamlessly move files to tables using stages, formats, and the powerful copy into command. Moving data from files to tables, think of Snowflake loading like a massive warehouse. Stages are your loading docks. Copy into is the forklift. File formats are the instruction manuals for unpacking the boxes. Stages hold your files before they hit the database. Internal stages are built into Snowflake. External stages securely map to your simple storage service, Azure, or GCS buckets. For production, named stages are the best choice to centralize your config. Here's the code. Internal stages get instant Snowflake encryption. For external, pass your cloud credentials securely. Hit list to instantly verify what's sitting on the dock. Tell Snowflake how to parse files, that's the first step. For CSV, you define delimiters, headers, and null handling once, then reuse them. JSON and Parquet are self-describing, so Snowflake handles the heavy lifting. Watch this, skip header equals 1 is your best friend for CSVs. For JSON, stripping outer arrays saves hours of querying pain. Pro tip, always run a test select directly on the stage before running the actual load. Forget skip header, and Snowflake blindly ingests your column names as data. This exact oversight caused our silent production failure. Don't make the same mistake. With data in a stage, copy into is your data forklift. It's smart enough to remember what it already loaded, completely preventing duplicates. Options like FILES, pattern, and force target exactly what you want, and error handling dictates what happens when bad rows hit. Here's a textbook copy into. Target a regex pattern for batching. But here's the real secret, validation mode. It dry runs your load, surfacing errors without touching the table. Why load dirty data? Land it in a stage, then transform it on the fly with a select subquery inside your copy into. Cast types, trim strings, and extract JSON fields mid-flight. Skip the post-load cleanup entirely. We're casting ints, trimming strings, using NULLIF for empty values, and plucking keys from JSON with colon notation. Even a case for status codes. Pure efficiency. ON error dictates your survival strategy. Set it to continue, skip file, or abort depending on how tolerant you can be of bad rows. Use validation, mode to scout for mines, and result scan to autopsy the rejected rows afterward. Then monitor load, history for failures. Setting ON error equals continue tells Snowflake to ignore bad rows and keep pushing. Grab the exact rejects instantly using the result scan function with last query ID. No more guessing what failed. Beware of empty strings masquerading as data. Without NULLIF, they slip right in and break downstream analytics. Always explicitly map missing values to null. Want lightning-fast loads? Keep your files compressed between 10 and 100 MB. Scale up your warehouse and fire off loads in parallel. Smaller files plus more compute equals instant data. We instantly scale to a medium warehouse, then hit the stage with parallel sessions. Boom, massive throughput. Append purge equals true to auto-delete the source files and keep your stage spotless. Snowflake eats JSON and Parquet for breakfast. Use copy into to dump JSON raw into a variant column and query it natively. For Parquet, use match by column name in your copy into command and let Snowflake dynamically map the schema. That's followed by flattening nested structures into relational rows. Load the entire JSON blob into one variant column, then dissect it later with simple colon notation. Parquet is even easier. Match by column name ignores file order and perfectly aligns your data. Never load a single 10 GB monolith. Snowflake thrives on parallelism. Split that beast into 100 megabyte chunks before staging and watch your load times drop from hours to seconds. Back to the silent failure. Because we didn't specify skip header equals 1, Snowflake ingested the header as the first row of data. Any subsequent real data was discarded as a type mismatch or duplicate. It looked successful, but we loaded nothing. The fix, literally one line. We added skip header equals 1 to our file format. We reloaded the data with that corrected format, the header was ignored, and millions of rows flowed in perfectly. The ultimate lesson: use validation mode to catch issues before committing. Flying blind is dangerous. Always run validation mode equals return errors before you commit to a massive load. Catch the typos and mismatches before they hit production. Your debugging playbook: first, list the stage. Second, test parse with a raw select. Third, dry run with validation mode, then use last query ID and result scan to get the errors. Finally, inspect load history. You'll catch 99% of bugs this way. Let's run through the gauntlet. What's a stage? Logical file storage. How does copy into prevent duplicates? Automatic file tracking. How do you clean data mid-flight? A select subquery inside the copy command. Lightning round. Internal stages are Snowflake managed. External are your own cloud buckets. Need to reload a file? Override with force equals true. Sweet spot for file size: 10 to 100 MB compressed. Let's walk through. Lock down consistency with named stages. Never fly blind. Use validation mode. Clean your data on the fly, heavily monitor load history, and split those massive files to keep things blazing fast. Thanks for watching. The full article and code examples are covered in detail at thecodeforge.io.